Hello, everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to Fridays with Sandy. That's Sandy Price.
Aloha, everybody.
There he is, founder of hbsguru.com. And we have a fascinating candidate to speak with today. We're going to do a handicapping session. Think about this, 750 GMAT, graduated from her undergraduate school with high honors, first distinction.
The undergraduate school is the London College of Fashion. Is that correct?
Yes,
Ashwini?
which is unusual in and of itself. But even more unusual is her job. She actually designs clothes for digital avatars at Meta. She is a full-time contract worker there as a fashion designer.
Okay,
it's got to be one of the most
unusual
jobs ever.
Because what does that mean? This is real important.
So Meta has essentially prioritized the metaverse as the next big thing in technology now, and that includes making avatars more realistic. And so the clothing for the avatars has to become more realistic as well. So I essentially help create more realistic clothing for the avatars.
For both old people like me and maybe some of our viewers who are more siloed. Could you tell us what an avatar is?
So an avatar is, for example, if you're playing a video game or if you're in any kind of virtual environment, you have like a little a virtual doll, if you will, to kind of represent you, and you can dress it up. It's kind of like the games the little kids play, except it's a lot bigger now, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry where you can buy virtual clothing with real money.
Who are some of the players in this?
Meta is a huge one. We create our own headsets, so we have a lot of different apps within that, and we're kind of one of the big market leaders in that space. But you also have a lot of other gaming companies, people like PlayStation, Xbox, and Roblox, all of these other ones who are kind of also dominating the market by putting their games out there. So it starts with gaming, but it does go beyond that.
Okay. Now this is important. On your resume, you say you're working for Meta/Facebook. You're a contractor, right?
Mm-hmm, I am.
So present that in the best way possible. Contractor's a dirty word. It sounds like you're almost full time, except they're not. Except you're not getting benefits and Social Security, yada yada yada, right?
Yeah, it's essentially, they just don't want to commit to me because I can't be transferred onto other projects that are not fashion related because my skill set is very specific.
Yeah, I understand what they're doing. Business schools just view that as easier to get and therefore less selective. In your case, it's just the way the industry works. So you have to explain that. It's real important.
Yeah. And can I in some way highlight how kind of unique it is that I am only one of 3 contractors at Meta who does fashion? It is actually, in the fashion industry, it's a really big deal and a really difficult role to get, rather than looking at it from a tech perspective where contractor is kind of an easier thing to get. So is there
you should not only you've got to explain that.
Okay.
That's your deal. And it's and you also have to explain this. Why do you want to go to business school?
Mm-hmm. Well, when I was working at the startup, we were working with a lot of different fashion brands that wanted to get into the metaverse because they understand that it's the next big thing and they want to innovate, but they also don't have a strategy and they don't really know how to start. And I was on a lot of.
Let me give you a tip here. Answer the question immediately. Why do you want to go to business school? Okay. Don't give me the blah 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 background. Okay. Why do you want to go to business school?
I want to help fashion brands innovate and get into the metaverse and implement all of the latest technology.
Okay, this is important. Give me a roadmap. After you graduate business school, what job would you want? What job would you want after that? And where do you see yourself at the culmination of your career?
Mm-hmm. So I want to be a luxury or innovation consultant first, and kind of really solve problems.
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like that's what you're doing now.
No, she wants to work at McKinsey Bain BCG in their luxury division, consulting with luxury type companies.
You've got to be able to present that in an interview as, what's the roadmap? You go, after business school, take it away. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So I want to go into consulting at one of the big consulting firms and work in the luxury division and work with a lot of different fashion brands and just gain that
Okay,
experience.
just for people who wear the same clothing every day, as some of you might have noticed, do consulting firms have luxury divisions?
They do. It's mostly based in New York, and I do know some people who've done MBAs and then gone on to be part of the luxury divisions at places like McKinsey and BCG.
Okay, that's important. That's really helpful. Okay, so, and then what do you want to do?
And then I want to go into a fashion brand as something like chief innovation officer, chief metaverse officer, and really lead innovation within a brand. Like, for
Where
instance,
would that be? Who? Give me a company that would hire you. Or
at Kering, for example. Kering's the big fashion house that has multiple brands under it, and they do a lot of innovation in both
how do you
kind of
spell that?
Kering.
Kering, Kering.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Or LVMH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
John, you're so hip. You know,
Hey, I used to write for Women's Wear Daily.
all that is very impressive. What's also impressive is you got first class honors with distinction at the London College of Fashion. You have a class standing there?
So unfortunately, in the UK, they don't officially give you a class standing, but I mean, I personally know that I was first in my batch of 200 people, but that doesn't officially, unfortunately, show up in any certificates. I could get a letter from like my course leader, for instance, who would be very happy to say that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I would do that.
Say it on your resume.
Yeah, put it on your resume, and if they and get the letter. So
Okay.
if they question it, yeah, people, business schools are, the only fashions they like are low numbers. Like
I want
first
to
in
know
my
how in the
class.
world did you get a 750 on your GMAT?
I'm impressed, man.
Because you're a poet. You're a poet
First
who's
try.
worked in fashion.
Well, I am a poet now, but I used to be a nerd in school, and my math skills just stayed in my brain. So it was actually quite easy for me to get a 750.
I mean, Sandy, you have to admit that's extraordinary for someone who has a degree in fashion
I'm impressed.
to get
I'm
a
not kidding.
750.
I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I'm
No,
impressed.
that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Seriously. Wow.
Good. What business school do you want to go to?
I am really keen on HBS. And my other options that I'm also quite keen on are Wharton and Kellogg. And now for kind of a fourth and fifth, I'm looking at MIT and Stanford, but I also don't know if I should replace those with kind of safer schools or, yeah.
John, she's a absolute acceptable. By that I mean, she should apply to Harvard. What
Definitely.
do you think? And if you get your story real clear with the 750 and the first in your class, man, I'd say you're going to get an interview there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I would also
Ashwini,
say,
you
let me give
are
you some
an
tough love.
unbelievable
I would
candidate.
also say, just from talking to you, I would prepare for that interview because you're a great talker, which is a little different than a great interviewee.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're emotive, you're great, you're full of ideas, you're all over the place, you're impressive. All that is terrific in almost every situation except a Harvard Business School interview. Okay.
And we didn't even get into a lot of her other attributes. She founded a company.
That would be that would be Harvard. The application has room for all of it.
Founded a company. She took Harvard's core online program and got high honors in
a lot
it.
going for you. Okay,
Yeah.
John, Stanford.
I think she is unique enough. I know we always say Stanford needs special sauce, but
she's got special sauce. Yeah,
she's got it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with myself. She's got special sauce.
She really, I mean, look, you are a truly unique candidate for these schools, and I'm going to just tell you, they're going to love to have you. And you got that 750 and the first class distinction and the high honors in the core program. You started your own company, and it wasn't a simple company. It was a company that required a good amount of expertise in
Yeah,
artificial
okay. Blah,
intelligence.
blah, blah. Let me read
Yeah.
this. This is what you wrote to us, okay? John, is this the way you should write a business school application or not? I want to work with fashion and luxury brands to help build their metaverse strategies, which includes all types of extended realities / emerging technologies.
I get it, but
Really? What does it mean?
yeah. Well, the metaverse is the next thing.
What's the metaverse? Tell me what a metaverse strategy is for a luxury brand. Name a luxury brand and what a metaverse strategy should be. Ms. Applicant, since you wrote it.
Yeah, so fashion brands so the market in the metaverse, so like in gaming, for instance, I said people buy clothes for their avatars. That market is huge. Like, it's so big that Fortnite, one of the big gaming companies, actually sells more clothes than any brand in the world, right? Like, bigger than any fashion company in the world. So there's a huge amount of revenue to be made, and fashion brands are slowly realizing that, and now they're starting to create digital products from their brand and sell those online as well, because it's kind of like
so make up a situation, put in a luxury brand, and tell me what you might be doing there.
So, for example, yeah, Gucci is like way ahead in terms of their metaverse strategy, and they have gone into games like Roblox, where it's a very young consumer, and they've sold, for instance, bags for
okay, you've convinced me. You've got to make this crystal clear in your application. Okay.
Now here's Sandy's going to disagree with me on this, but I'm telling you, I think this is a great idea. Can you do a fashion show online?
Yeah, I did that for my final collection at university. In fact, I created a whole world and displayed my own garments in there, fully virtual. You could walk in a headset.
Okay, you should include a link in your application to your fashion show.
And your resume. Yeah.
Yes, of course. But a link to your fashion show so people can immediately visualize exactly what you do.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. Yeah. I've done several projects like that at work and individually as well, personally. So
good. We're just a lot of the people reading your applications at business schools might be, out of it like me about things like this. So you've got to, keep it simple, stupid. You know that. That should be your flag here, along with your avatars.
Okay.
Look, you're great, man. Just you.
So when you mention your contractor, say it's full time, include the link to your fashion show to show what you've done. Any other hints here, Sandy, on how to improve her odds? I think she's just really solid.
I do have.
Yeah, you've got to make the whole thing clear.
Clear. Okay, sure.
Your application, this resume is confusing. Is this what you sent us? Is this your resume where it says education, profile, experience?
I did add on a bit more just so you have a bit more background around me. Normally, I would shorten it a little bit from my actual resume.
Okay.
Create a totally conventional resume. People reading this don't want to be challenged or aesthetically pleased. They want to do their job, which is to understand fully your resume so they can make a fair and balanced judgment. You get the picture here?
Yeah.
I think the other thing about the resume, Sandy, I think she should be a little more selective. There's a lot on it. And what happens is when you put too much stuff, it takes away from the really good stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
yeah,
there's also a lot missing. It's a mess, and you can't understand it.
So focus on clarifying things and prioritizing things and taking some things out that are less important, so that the people who read it will pay attention to what really is important and won't get confused by it.
Okay.
Okay, Sandy, Ashwini's odds at Harvard, what are they?
750 GMAT, first in her class at the London College of Fashion. That's
job
great.
At Meta.
And a job which is pretty much full-time at Meta. I think your odds of getting interviewed are real good, like 30, 40, 50%. Okay.
What about
After-
getting in? You know, she presents well. She's articulate.
No, she doesn't present well.
Well, I think she speaks
No offense.
very well.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What you have to do is present in interview style. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
So which is a little different than the excitement and the wide-ranging things you're telling us in, where the order of things is less important than your excitement and the content. You're a smart woman. I'm pretty sure you could do that.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think she's going to wow them. And I think it's a no-brainer. If Harvard doesn't accept her, it's their loss.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you should apply to Harvard. I think your chances of getting in, I think your chances of getting interviewed, if you can write a conventional application, are very good. Who's going to write your recommendations?
My current manager at Meta and someone I work with
Good.
on the side. I'm part of something called the Fashion Innovation Agency, so I work with them a lot on side projects for different brands. So one
Okay,
of
the meta writer, I assume, knows how to do this.
well, no, he's actually
Well,
never.
maybe not. Okay, you've got to coach these people, and
Help coach them.
I would write them. I would say, look, I'm applying to business school. Can you help me? This is what the recommendation form looks like. I've taken the trouble of writing a very detailed outline of what my story is in answer to their questions.
Mhm.
In other words, kind of go as far about writing the recommendation as you can,
Mhm.
while keeping your
Yeah. Hey,
conscience.
look, you want your recommender to say you are the next Coco Chanel in the metaverse, okay? Or the Vera Wang or the Donna Karan, whatever, okay? But you want that phrase high up.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
What about
Yeah,
Stanford? What about
That's the
Stanford?
right idea. I tell you, man, is there some do-gooder twist you could put on your story?
Well, one of the big things that I genuinely do want, I think, is there's not a lot of representation in fashion at the higher levels. There are hardly any women of color, but if you look at obviously the garment workers who don't get paid well at the bottom, the craftsmen.
Women of color in fashion leadership.
Yeah.
With an understanding of how strenuous the working conditions are for their garment workers. I mean, that's the definition of that's the definition of a hard, low-paying job. So make yourself out as someone who wants to be a woman of color, a leader in the fashion world, and also raise working conditions in an industry that is unfair to women. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be the Joan of Arc of fashion. You dig it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if she does it, what's her odds at Stanford?
Good. I mean, Stanford is impossible to get into, but man, you got it all.
Unusual candidate. Yeah. You're what they look for.
So really great about you is the 750 and the first in your class. That there are a lot of wonderful, kooky people in the world. They don't have 750 GMAT. That is so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have this one concern that I wanted to raise, which is that
what is it?
So at fashion school, it's only the final year grades that are taken for your final kind of your GPA and your first and everything. And overall, my grades are not bad, but a couple of times in my first and second year, there are a couple of like B's and C's thrown in. And I was kind of wondering if that's going to look really bad.
Not if you improved it. And you did say you graduated high in your class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all that matters.
Yeah, this is great. You're great. We're happy to go through this. It's a thrill. I think I'm going to be reading about you and also seeing a label with your name on it at some point.
Thank you. Let's hope so.
Okay.
Wharton, Kellogg, Stanford, Harvard. Man, I think you're going to get into 2 or 3 of those programs. And MIT Sloan, I'm a little less certain about, because even though you have a high GMAT, they're going to know that you're going to be scooped up by Harvard, Stanford, or Wharton or Kellogg. They just are going to know it. And I don't know that you belong at MIT. I think you're too much of a free spirit to go there. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sandy, you'd agree with that. Come on.
Yeah. No, I do agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll finish with this. You know, I used to work at MIT. It's a great school. It's a great business school. It's it's kind of a chilling environment and a humorless one.
So the other thing is, if you don't get into the schools that you really want to get in, you're young enough at 24 to simply wait and reapply.
Yeah.
And Sandy, I think you would recommend that in this case, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but what? How could she make it better and different?
You
You don't get in, that means you messed up the application.
Yeah, that's about it. Right.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. This was
Good luck to you. We'll see you on the Harvard campus.
Yes. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
All right, all of you out there, you've been watching Fridays with Sandy. Thanks for checking in.